Welcome to the Deadlifts and Pizza podcast, where we discuss no BS fitness and nutrition.
We're your hosts. I'm Laura.
And I'm Jaime.
Let's get into it.
Hi.
Hi.
What's up, Laura Satas? How are you?
Good.
Totally random. I want to know what you're eating today.
What am I eating today?
Yeah. What's your food plan? And I don't know, do any of these, did you prep anything over the weekend that you have intentionally planned to eat throughout the week?
No, I have not. So I had a shake for breakfast.
Yep. How many calories and protein are in your shake?
43 grams of protein and 446 calories.
Cool.
Lunch is like a beef veggie thing. You know, it's just like beef and veggies.
Did you already make that and it's leftovers, or
it normally is, but I have to make it today.
Okay, are you making a large amount so that you have leftovers?
It's only a pound of beef, so I split that into 3.
Okay.
3 servings. And I put some eggs in there too. Only 2 eggs though.
Like over easy eggs, or do you scramble them?
I scramble them in there. If I have too many eggs, they give me to make.
So it's all just gonna be like a conglomeration of eggs and beef and veggies.
Yeah, I make the veggies separate and then I put them in there with it after.
Okay.
It just seems to taste better than when I put the veggies with the beef. Sometimes it gets kind of like
the texture's not great.
Yeah, no. But if I add it in after and I keep them separate, it keeps that freshness.
Do you roast the veggies like in the oven?
I just use like steam, like the microwave steamable veggies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it makes it easy.
Yeah.
So like broccoli and peas and squash I'm using.
Okay.
So this is it's 600 calories.
And that's very low carb. There's no like potatoes in there, or do you put it on rice or anything?
No, it's 57 grams of carbs.
Okay, yeah.
And 48 grams of protein.
Okay.
23 grams of fat because there's egg and beef in there.
Where are the carbs coming from?
Squash. Let me see.
What kind of squash?
Butternut squash, like frozen butternut squash. So 24 grams from the squash, 15 grams from the peas, 12 grams from the broccoli, and only 5 grams from the onion.
Okay, I thought it was like I was thinking it was like summer squash, like zucchini. So I was like, where's the...
Yeah,
so
they're
now
not,
that makes
they're
sense.
very low. Yeah, it's not very starchy. Yeah, I like to put in some squash or sweet potato because they're a little bit more carby.
Yes. Yeah.
And then for dinner, I'm going to make Mediterranean baked cod.
Yum. And what do you serve that with?
Let me see the recipe. I don't know. It's just it's like all together. So I don't like
got it.
It's like, I don't know. There's different things in there. There's tomatoes. I don't even remember what's in it. I know there's tomatoes.
Do you have it like with pasta or with potatoes or with like...
Mm-mm. But you can put it over that.
Okay.
There's only 23 grams of carbs.
You just have the cod as it is? You're not going to have it with anything?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I don't remember if I did last time. I might have put it over rice or something, but I don't remember. I think I just ate it the way it was. I don't remember.
And it just is like fish with like some veggies and sauce?
Yeah.
Huh. All right. And then anything else? So smoothie,
that's
lunch,
all I have planned,
dinner?
And that's less than 1,400 calories. So I'll add some other things later. Maybe.
What do you think you'll end up adding if you had to guess?
Fruit.
Yeah.
Fruit.
You maybe, nutrition elitist, you?
Maybe some yogurt. Maybe I'll have yogurt with fruit in it.
Okay.
Some Greek yogurt with fruit.
So it sounds like you're currently tracking.
I just started again.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because this is really weird. Okay. So and I think I've talked about this before, but every time I get sick, so when I was sick, I was not hungry, which is rare actually. Even when I'm sick, I'm usually still hungry. It was so weird to not be hungry because it's not a normal feeling for me, right? Where I'm like, I don't really want food. Like I thought about dinner. I'm like, I'm not really in the mood to eat. Like that's just a very weird feeling. Or starting to eat something and then not being able to finish it. That's so weird. Anyway, I didn't eat a lot of calories. I didn't track, but I know like my foods were still like the same foods I normally eat, but smaller quantities of them. So it wasn't like I'm eating like less, volume but it's like worse foods. Like it's the same foods I normally eat. So my guess would be that I was eating like 1,200-ish calories at that
Yeah.
time. And it was like for a week I was doing that, maybe more, because it took me a minute to get my hunger back. I also think we had COVID, so our taste buds were, we couldn't taste things, you know?
Interesting.
So once I started eating a little bit more again, it's like I don't ever lose weight, even though my calories are so low. If my calories are like 1,200-ish to 1,400-ish, this happens every single time I do this. This isn't just like one time.
I know, we've talked about this.
My weight doesn't move, it doesn't drop, but then once I eat more calories again, it goes up. So like today I weighed myself and my weight went up. And
That's
it's
crazy.
so frustrating. So I'm starting to track again, and I was thinking of like next week, I think it's time for like a whole foods challenge again, and to do that for a couple weeks and then go into a cut after that.
But if devil's advocate, if you go down to 1,200 calories and you don't lose weight, then what's the point of doing a cut?
The cut works if my calories are at 1,500, 1,600. If they go down to 12, it doesn't. And I know that doesn't
So
make any
weird.
sense. And I know people would be like, no, that's wrong. The law of thermodynamics says you are lying, you know. But I'm telling you, it happens every single time. And
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
very
like,
odd.
and it's not like it's like, oh, well, it just changes and then it drops back down or whatever. No, it stays. It
Well, I
stays
wonder
up.
if you ate 1,200 calories for longer than like a week.
Yes, I think it
Because
would
that's
work.
a really, I
It
think your
would-
body goes into like panic resistance mode for a
It
little while,
does.
but you can't sustain that. That's the problem. So like,
Yeah.
if you stuck to 1,200, it would work.
It would.
But how long would you be able to do that before you'd go binge crazy in the other direction because you would just be so hungry? Yeah.
Yeah. So in other words, like mini cuts don't work where I drop my calories really low. I would have to be in that for at least like a month or something. And then I would probably lose weight. But it's like once I up my calories, it takes a minute for my metabolism to adjust. So I end up putting a lot of the weight back on.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Crazy.
I hate it. It's annoying.
Cool. Well, thanks for sharing your food.
Yeah,
I always
sorry,
think it's
what?
interesting. It seems boring to probably us, but I think that that's the kind of stuff people like to hear. Like, what do you eat? You know what I mean? It's always the questions like, what do I eat?
Yeah.
You know? So it's interesting to hear. So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to eat.
Okay, I love it.
All right.
Sure.
So I got inspired on the weekend. So sometimes I'll prep food on the weekend that lasts all week, and sometimes I don't. You know, I always like when I do because it's nice and easy, but I also can wing it very easily, right? Because you have that knowledge and the skills. But I got inspired this weekend, and I made a roasted butternut squash soup. And I make butternut squash soup generally, but this time I took the time to roast the veggies, and I roasted butternut squash and red peppers and onions and garlic. And I blended that in with like chicken broth and a cup of red lentils. Do you ever use red lentils?
Mm-mm. Not a
They're
big lentil
amazing.
person.
Well, they completely disintegrate when you cook them because they're so small, and they just make soup like thicker. You can't actually, they don't have any texture really. They're not like regular brown lentils. So when you put red lentils in, they just like completely disintegrate and they just make it thicker, but they're like a lot more protein than regular brown lentils. So it can increase the fiber and the protein.
I'm not a big fan of thick soups, so I probably wouldn't like
Yeah.
it. I like the
Yeah.
like clear brothy soups.
Yeah.
So,
I see. I like a nice thick, like this
Yeah.
butternut squash soup. It's obviously if you pour it, it will drizzle out. It's not like super thick, but it is like a nice, almost like creamy. Because I also put a cup of cottage cheese in there too, and I blended that all in. And you know, granted, it's a big pot of soup, so a cup of cottage cheese doesn't do much, but still, it's very good. So
Yeah.
I'm having that in the mornings. Actually, that's my breakfast with some like chicken sausage.
Okay.
Like just a cup of soup and chicken sausage. And I made these strawberry muffins for the kids that are actually really good. So I've been having a muffin also. So it's like a strawberry muffin and chicken sausage and my soup. It's really good. And then for lunch, I made this bean and tomato. You literally just saute like onion and garlic, but then a whole big container of like cherry tomatoes. And you just cook them until they all break down. And then you add white beans and like a little salt and whatever. And then Parmesan cheese. And that's it. And I, again, added a cup of cottage cheese to increase the protein. Kind of immersion blended that in there. And it made this like almost like a bean stew. And I've just been eating that for lunch with I defrost shrimp, like pre-cooked shrimp. I just defrost like 30 grams of protein worth of shrimp, and I just eat this bean with the shrimp. And I'm really liking that for lunch.
I love shrimp, but it's so
Yeah.
expensive. I like
Yeah.
I don't make it all the time. If it was cheaper, I would make it
I
very
know.
frequently.
I know. I just buy the bags of from Sam's or Costco
Yeah.
of pre-cooked frozen shrimp, and you can just
Mhm.
defrost it very quickly. I love
Yeah.
that. And
Fish in
then
general is easier because you can defrost it. Like seafood is really easy to defrost it
yeah, it is
quickly.
quick, defrost quick and cooks quick.
Yeah.
And for dinner we're gonna have salmon, and I think I'm gonna just do. I don't know. My kids love Asian salmon with rice, but I try to. I don't know. I don't do that every week because I don't want to get sick of it because we eat it a lot. So I'll probably just do some kind of, I don't know, we have lime. I don't know what I'll do with the salmon. We have some veggies. I think I'm going to do like roasted. Oh, that's what I got. I've got a bunch of those little baby potatoes, those different colored ones. I'm going to roast those with asparagus, actually. I had a client inspire me. I have not eaten asparagus in a long time. I love asparagus, but I just never buy it or eat it. I don't know.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, we have roasted asparagus like every night. We just roast asparagus. Like, okay. And then I saw it at the store. I was like, I'm going to get asparagus. I'm going to roast it with potatoes. That sounds good.
Asparagus is really good for you.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I think I might have, I'm really into these fudge bars. Healthy Choice makes fudge bars, and they're only 90 calories, but they're kind of big. They're like big and fat, and they're really good. Like for 90 calories, they don't taste like fake sweet or anything. And they're really good. So I'm probably going to have one of those at the end of the night. And I think that's it, although I should fit a smoothie in there. But I'm not really sure where my calories would be at that point. So we'll see. I haven't been tracking.
Yeah, I haven't until
Probably
just
should
recently.
be. Yeah.
I think it's the time. I think it's that time.
Yeah, I
Time
know
to
what you
start.
mean. Yeah, it's like you should start weaning in. We should just do like, I'm thinking with my group, just like a tracking challenge, not a cut, not just like
Yeah.
getting back in the habit of tracking in prep for like a cut.
That's kind of what I'm doing. Like this week
Yeah.
is really just tracking and trying to hit my protein goal. That's really my main goal this week. Next week, I'm still going to track when I do the Whole Foods challenge, but not like just to make sure I'm eating in the right range. I don't want to eat too low, and I probably won't eat too high if I'm doing that. But I want to
Recalibrating.
make sure
Yeah.
I'm eating enough, and then I'll go into a cut after that, and probably like a month from now.
Yeah,
good
that
time.
makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing your menu with me.
Yeah. I just wanted to say randomly, there's no transition, that
Speaking of shrimp,
speaking of shrimp, no.
what's the point? Disconnected.
Speaking of shrimp, I love my new heart rate monitor.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I was reading, so you got the Morpheus, is it Morpheus 10 or something like that?
Sure.
Or is it just called Morpheus? Did I just
called
throw
Morpheus.
numbers at the
That
end?
might be like the newest version of it or something. Yeah.
Okay. Or I just made it up. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I've been looking, I should have just bought it when I said I was going to buy it because you recommended it. I was like, I'm just going to buy it. But then of course I have to like go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And there's people that are like, oh, this is really dumb. You know, the way that it calibrates your heart rate every morning, this other thing does it better and blah, blah, blah.
I love it. I do. And the guy who created it is like, very, like one of the best, like well-researched people for conditioning. Like that's his thing. So I trust him, with it. Like, when I like my Fitbit, I don't really trust the creators of my Fitbit to give me the right information, right? Where I trust him. So I like it, and it makes me want to do more cardio because I'm like, oh, I want to get the numbers,
Because you have a goal. It's like this number-based goal. Yeah.
Yeah. And I can
really
actually
cool.
track it and see it, So I really like it. And then I also like that it does your HRV, which I thought would be annoying because you have to do that in the morning and you want to do it when you first wake up because otherwise it's going to be wrong. So I thought
explain what that is real quick. So you put the monitor on every morning.
Yeah. And
in order to
what?
In order to
I don't really know like a heart rate variability is just I don't really fully understand it, but it's like the difference between like your heart, like the time in between your heart beats, right?
Yeah.
It's like the variability of that. And for some reason, the higher variability is good. I don't
Yeah,
really
so
know
it's
why.
generally it's a metric of like your overall cardiovascular and heart health, right? So I guess
Yeah.
putting it on in the morning is getting like a reading of
Hmm.
your baseline,
Yes.
right? Like
And it
HRV.
also like give you your it's a better time to figure out your resting heart rate, right? So you
Mhm.
want to do it and you don't want to move. Like you just want to lay there and move as little as possible. So my resting heart rate has been around like 58 to 60
That's
usually.
really good.
Yeah, it's better than I thought. Like 58 is an athlete range, you know?
Oh, look at you being elite.
I'm elite again.
Now I need to go buy it so I can be a leader than you.
You probably are though. You probably have better. Yeah. Anyway, so I like that, and I can see like the different my workouts, what they do to that, and like different things, and it gives you a recovery score, which it even says like that doesn't mean like if your recovery score is low that you don't go and work out. Like you still want to go work out and stuff, but it gives you like an idea of how well you're recovering, and maybe like you should and it emphasizes doing recovery workouts. So like zone 2 type workouts can actually improve your recovery as long as
That's
they
pretty
are
cool.
yeah, as long as they are in like a 30 to 40 minute range. You don't want to do
Mhm.
it for, a super long time. And
Mhm.
you can even go into the other zone, like because it doesn't have like zone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has like the recovery zone, the conditioning zone, and then I
Yeah, it only
forgot
has
what it calls
3.
it. It's like
Uh-huh.
blue, green, and red. So the recovery zone changes based on your recovery rate and your HRV and all of that
Mhm.
in the morning. Um, and it's really like zone 2 and 3. And then the
Yeah.
conditioning is closer to like, and that's more like zone 4. And then the other one would be zone 5. So you can even go into zone 4 a little bit and it will still give you like today I upped my recovery in my workout. I got into zone 3 a couple times or zone 4 a couple times, but
Yeah.
it still added recovery points.
So when you're wearing it while you're working out, how is it through the app that you can see where your heart rate is?
Yep, and it's like constantly changing.
Cool.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
how high have you spiked your heart rate in the red zone?
I haven't gotten to the red zone.
Oh,
No, I don't know how to with my current like in the summertime when I run outside and I do sprints, I could probably get into red. But I was on the treadmill doing like an interval type
yeah.
thing, and I don't like running that fast on the treadmill. I can run that fast outside, but I was at like 8 speed, which isn't, like I can run way
Yeah.
faster than that, right? So I'm at 8. It only got up to green.
Okay, what is the highest your heart rate has gone, like, numbers-wise?
170 maybe.
Uh-huh, and what do you know what number for you would put you in the red zone?
It's a little higher than it depends on the day because the zones
Yeah.
change. So
Oh.
yeah, based on your recovery, like based on your what you do in the morning, they will change.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So you on one day, you're being in 180 heart rate might be red zone for you. Might
Yeah.
be, like, the top, but on another day, if you're recovering really well, it might be higher.
Yes.
Interesting. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
So the red is yeah, I don't know. It's different all the time. So I don't know. I can open it real quick, but it takes a minute. So I'll talk while I'm doing that. But yeah, so I maybe have gotten it up to like 170, which is towards the top of the green, right? I'm close to red. But to
Yeah.
get my heart rate up that high, I have to be moving and it has to
Oh,
be. And
yeah.
when I get my heart rate up that high, I don't like being there. Like once I get there, I'm like, I'm done. It's so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So yeah, being in the red
Well,
is
I know
uncomfortable.
what you mean, like, it's like, how do you get your heart rate up there? Because 'Cause I've been having to be a little bit creative. Because I would and this is where I wanna go back to Taekwondo with a
Yeah.
really cool heart rate monitor because my watch would tell me 190, 198, 199. Like, one day it broke 200 while I was doing these rounds with him,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "How accurate is that?" Because that's insanely high,
Yeah.
but I also did feel like I literally physically cannot keep going. And like my friend who would do it with me would literally like fall on the ground, like collapse on the ground. Like,
Yeah, you're probably
so
in red. Yeah.
it definitely read, but I just wonder if how accurate that number was because I really struggle to replicate that on my Fitbit. So I'm using the same measure of like, way to measure it. Right. I have not been able to get that high via my Fitbit at home on my own. But I have been starting to compare what my Fitbit's saying to just like touching my neck, like finding my pulse on my neck and tracking it for
Yeah.
10 seconds. So when I'm sprinting in the field with my son, after like 1 or 2 sprints, my heart, like, because those are still kind of my body's warming up, but I can get up to, according to my pulse tracking with 10 seconds, it's like 180. I've been getting it to like 1, which is like 30 beats per 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And then there's a kettlebell circuit that I've been doing because I kind of created a kettlebell circuit. I was like, oh, this'll be hit. And then I did it and I was like, it was hard, but it was not hit. Like I can tell my heart rate was not
Yeah.
there. So I tweaked it and holy crap, that was it. That was it.
Okay.
And it's definitely there. And that was just standing in one place with a kettlebell. And so, so it's like, I know what you mean. It's hard to figure out what's going to be your body's going, holy crap. Like, and I am going to get a freestanding, we have a hanging bag, but when I hang it in my squat cage, I don't feel comfortable like kicking it because I could kick the bars. So I'll kick it a little bit, but I don't want to do like anything crazy. So I want to get a freestanding like Wave Master kick bag. And I want to start doing Taekwondo drills like on my own on that. And I think that I'll be able to spike it that way as well. Like jumping. I was going to say jump squats.
Jumping.
Stuff
Jumping
like that
definitely can.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did one time. I was just messing around to see, so I did a bunch of burpees, and I only got to 165. I'm like, okay. Today I did my landmine complex. It's mostly in the blue zone. It only got up to the green for like the tops, towards the end, and it was it got to like 160-ish. So it was just in the green zone for me to get it that high. Yeah, I have to be sprinting pretty much. I have to be running, or like if I had like a exercise bike, I could probably go really fast and get it up, something like that. But it's really hard with what I have at the moment to get it that high. So I'm gonna focus on that once it gets warm out. Maybe with the sled, I probably can.
It's a balance too, and I know you know this, but saying it for the sake of like all of the audience and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's when you start using weights, because like I'm doing a kettlebell circuit or you're with the landmine thing, you have to. There's a sweet spot, because I noticed that if I do this kettlebell circuit with a light kettlebell, because it's like, oh, I don't want to go too heavy, then my heart rate doesn't go high. So I have to increase the weight that I'm using on the kettlebell, but it can't be so high. I can't increase the weight so high that it starts to feel like I'm needing to recover in between, because then I'm pushing too much in the strength, right? And then I can't move it as fast, because the goal is to be able to move it as quickly as possible while having the weight be challenging enough that it gets the heart rate zone. So like I could have a lighter weight and move it very fast, but it's not heavy enough to it's not challenging enough. So I have to get the weight up there so I can still move it very fast. Because I have to tell my husband while we're doing it, I'm like, you have to keep moving. If it's too heavy that you have to take breaks because it's heavy, then you need to lower the weight slightly, but you have to move it very quickly,
Yeah. And it's also like, okay, you don't want your muscles to get tired. That doesn't mean you don't want that to be a limiting factor. You want it to be your heart rate. That is that is going to be the thing
it's super. But also like
go
with this,
heavy.
Well, what do you think? So with this kettlebell circuit, my legs are tired, but my heart rate is high. But it's like we were talking about before, is the heart rate high from the right thing? I'm not going too heavy. I can do these over and over, the things that I'm doing, the complexes I'm doing with the kettlebell. But I'm literally doing them over and over. So the first day I did it, my legs were sore. But it's because of that repetition of what I was doing. But my heart rate was up there. So it felt really good.
When I did the escalated density training, my heart rate got up really high too.
Yeah.
Going back and forth. By the way, though, that's no joke. If anyone does that program on Friday's workout wrecked me.
The landmine?
Like, oh, yeah.
Oh my God,
I was
Laura,
so tired.
What did you do? What did you do to us?
It's one of those things, though, that you can kind of control. You can kind of control the intensity. You can take longer breaks if you want to.
Yeah.
You can, you can make it as easy or as hard as you would like. So
noted.
Yeah. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's fun and interesting. I think pushing the sled, it could probably get my heart rate up to where I need it to be, where it's like, in that red zone. I do know, like, in that red zone, I am uncomfortable. You can kind of tell when you're there. It's so funny because once I start getting into the green, I feel it. And I already know I'm there without it even having to tell me. I can already tell that I'm there. And then,
well, that's cool. Because you get to start to learn how those different zones feel on your body.
Yeah. And so it wouldn't tell me the zones, I think, because I already worked out today, but it was this morning. It was blue is usually like 100, like the lowest would be 100 to like 160, 158, 150. It's like one time it was even like 165. Maybe it depends on like my recovery, right? And then the green would probably be like 160-ish to 175, 180, something like that.
Okay.
And then after that,
Interesting.
yeah. And but I it's also maybe a little inaccurate because I don't know what my max heart rate actually is. I told it was 200. Now, if I do an exercise and it goes past 200, it will adjust it for me.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
because I don't actually know what my max heart rate is.
Yeah. Huh. All right, cool. Research to be continued, but
Yeah.
I'm also dissuaded because you said it took a while to get to you, which should make me move faster theoretically, but it just makes me move slower because I'm like, Amazon would be here tomorrow.
But if you take forever deciding, it won't be.
Exactly. No, I see the logical fallacy in that.
Yeah.
Question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What do you, so going back to the S through F tier, when we were rating exercises, I
Okay.
want to bring one to just a single exercise to the table, which I don't know why we didn't talk about before. Because it is very controversial, I guess.
Okay.
I want your real thoughts on a good morning.
A good morning.
And I want to hear, all right, this is what I want to know, Laura. I want to know how you like it for yourself. Okay, so that's one question. How you like it for the standard general population.
Okay.
And then if you like it for either one of those populations, then why would you ever do it instead of an RDL?
Yeah.
Or anything else that works your low back. So just to clarify, if anybody does not know what a good morning is, it's a Romanian deadlift, except instead of holding the weight dangling from your arms, you put the weights up by your shoulders. So you're either holding a barbell on your back like you're going to do a back squat, but then you hinge like you're doing an RDL, or you can like hold dumbbells kind of on your shoulders or right behind your neck as well and basically do an RDL. So instead of the weight being more kind of center lined over your feet in an RDL, the weight is literally away from the center line of gravity because it's higher up on your body when you hinge.
Okay, so if I'm going to give it a
you
grade,
lots of time to think by talking about it.
I was listening to you too. If I'm going to give it a grade, I would say maybe a B. I don't like it as much as an RDL, and I rarely ever program it because an RDL is just
superior.
It is because you're not loading. You could do more weight, right? You're not loading your back up, or if you're holding dumbbells, I don't know. It feels more awkward that way. I have a really hard time like getting the bar to stay sometimes too. It wants to roll forward. It just becomes challenging. So I don't do it very often, but when I do, it is different. Like when I do, my hamstrings are always sore the next day. Like I feel like it hits my hamstrings hard. And I don't know why. Like I don't know why it would hit my hamstrings harder than an RDL. But I do like to add it in once in a while because of that, because it's just something a little bit different. Also, I just kind of like doing things that are a little bit, just a different variation. So that's why I would program it for myself or for someone else just to give a different variation. But 90% of the time it's going to be an RDL and not a good morning.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
so
enough information.
I don't like good mornings.
No?
I don't. I've never liked good mornings. And I've gone back and forth between programming them and not because I'll say, Jaime, just because you don't like good mornings doesn't mean like you shouldn't. So I'll put them into some things and I'm like, no, nobody should do good mornings. There's no point in good mornings. So I spent some time doing research and stuff. So essentially, I think the reason that you probably feel it in your hamstrings more is I think when you hinge back in a good morning, your hips are a little higher. Like in a Romanian deadlift, we do tend to drop our hips slightly unless you're doing like a stiff leg. Do you notice a difference in your hamstring, how they feel doing a stiff leg deadlift versus a good morning?
I don't know. And that might
that
be.
would be interesting because I always notice my hamstrings are sore because you keep your hips a little higher, right? And in a good morning, in an RDL, I should say. So it's not necessarily that a good morning you keep your hips higher. It's more like in a RDL, people do drop their hips a little, right? There's a little bit of hip drop that takes a little bit of activation off the hamstrings. And when you keep them a little bit more stretched, like in a stiff leg RDL or in a good morning,
like they get stretched more.
Yeah. But the other thing that a good morning directly does is it pulls the weight from the center line to your body outwards, which is something we generally never want to do in strength training. Yet for some reason in a good morning, we say, it's no problem. Let's just load up the low back, the lumbar spine. Let's just like put all the load directly on your low back. So that's essentially what it's doing. But the benefits of doing that could be like, so when I've read about it before, it's like for somebody who's like a power lifter or is always like loading up a deadlift or loading up an RDL, it can be a way to still get, because the only way to get that work, if you directly want to actually load up your spine and do direct work on those low back muscles, you have to load up an RDL or a deadlift a lot because of how much your glutes and hamstrings pick up the load. So if you don't actually want to lift that heavy, but you want to put a decent amount of work into your low back, a good morning's a way to do that because you lower the weight naturally, but it's almost all directly like low back work, right? So, but that's a very specific application for it.
I don't,
you know?
Yeah, and I never notice it like irritating my low back or my low back is never sore the next day. It's always my hamstrings.
I agree. When I do good mornings, I don't feel that my low back is sore. But when I'm doing good mornings, every single rep, I'm so hyper focused because as I shift my hips back, I can feel the load just like going straight into my low back. And so I'm very just aware that it's there.
Yeah.
And so it's naturally loading up your low back and your hamstrings more, which I think when you even just say that, that makes it for, I feel like general population, there's ways to target your low back muscles better than that. Like I'd want them to do like a extension, what are back extensions, or even just RDLs. I mean, most people doing RDLs, you're going to get enough work. Like, why would you want to do more work on your low back? Again, I feel like there'd be a very specific application for that.
You know, this is something about me too, is like, once I get to like my RDLs are so freaking heavy. They're so heavy for me to actually be working anything anymore because I can lift so much weight. It is fun to shift to a different variation where I can't do as much weight that I have to work it back up again. So when I'm doing a good morning, I'm not doing a ton of weight. I don't really know how much weight I would do. I'm not doing a ton of weight. So that's probably the other reason I don't feel it in my low back. But I still feel it in the hamstrings. So I don't need a ton and I can still work it up and have fun with it and make progress. And
totally. And I think that, so like I personally don't like them. I just don't enjoy it. Like I don't enjoy the variation, right? I can totally understand why somebody might enjoy the variation. So for somebody like you, I would say that makes total sense. No judgment. But I think I'm just solidly placing myself in the camp of, unless you have a very specific reason, then I don't really think people should be doing them, because I think the potential for injury and the potential for low back strain is high if your deadlift and your hinge and your core bracing and all of that stuff and how you place the weights isn't like spot on. And so many people, especially as we get older and we get into these different brackets of people that we're working with and talking to, the amount of people that are concerned about low back in the first place, I just feel like there's so many I'm constantly teaching clients, like, because they're sending videos and it's like they're picking up the weight from far away from them and then they're going into their perfect form. It's like, no, get close to the weight. You always want to keep the weight close to the center line of your body. So I wouldn't then go and be like, actually, just throw this weight on your back and then hinge. Like, we're just going to pull it away like 2 feet from your midline of your body.
Yeah, it's probably not a good
2 feet,
exercise to start with.
Yeah. But I could see it as I wouldn't like program it in a generalized program that I know most people are going to use. Yeah. But if I knew a very specific person, like, this might be a good variation for you, let's try that. Or here's a way to, like, whatever. I could see a couple applications for it. But I generally don't like good mornings. I just don't like them. I think there's so many other I would give them like a C. I want to give them a D.
You can.
I'm angry about good mornings today, Laura.
It's totally fine. I can see that.
It's funny because it's the only exercise I've ever truly had like mixed. Like I really am like feel complicated in my feelings about it. I can't think of many other exercises I really feel that passionately back and forth about.
Yeah. I don't, I'm like the opposite, where I don't have a strong opinion on them because I rarely do them. but it's not like something that if it was programmed to be like, you're an idiot, why would you put good mornings here?
Yeah.
You know? It's kind of like,
Do you have any exercises that you feel passionately controversial about?
I don't think so. Because I don't think there's, besides upright rows, I don't think there's one
Oh,
that
there
I'm
we
like,
go.
yeah,
There we go.
yeah, I don't like those.
Could you see any practical application for an upright row like I can for a good morning?
I mean, if somebody,
Like if they feel good doing
if
it
they
and
feel
they like
good
the
doing
variation.
it and they like it, right? Yeah, exactly. Most people, it doesn't feel good though.
That's
But
how I
if
feel
it
about
feels
good
fine
mornings.
for you, then go ahead.
I
Yeah.
also, the other problem I have with good mornings is a lot of people, a lot of women do good mornings because they see it as an additional exercise they can add in to like their glute development. And like, how are my good mornings working on my glutes? And I'm like, ugh, just no. Just let's get rid of those. Yeah, are they hitting your glutes? Absolutely. But you can't load them up enough that your glute, because you're going to be limited by your low back because of the positioning of the weight. There's so many exercises we can do, and you're probably doing it wrong. Anyway.
Yeah. I really feel it in my glutes. It's always those hammies. I can feel it in my hamstrings.
Yeah, once I get the hamstrings in a really stretched position, I can do really lightweight and they'll get sore.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
The hamstrings have an advantage because you know how we were talking about stretching out any given muscle, if you can stretch it out at its origin and its insertion, so where it connects on either end of the muscle, the more you can stretch out on either end, the more activation you'll get. Hamstrings have an advantage because you're almost always working them in that position. You know, when you think about it.
Yeah.
So
they're easy to
anyway,
stretch.
that's that. What else you got for me?
That
was it.
I got a tier list.
A tier list for what?
Home gym equipment.
Oh, so are you gonna give me the equipment and I'm gonna tier them and then you're gonna agree or disagree?
Uh-huh.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So I the way I'm thinking about this is
like that
for home gym. So there's lots of things to take into consideration. So there's some equipment that I might love that I would love to own, but is it practical for most people to own this? Like thinking about price and how much room it takes up, and obviously how effective it is going to be in there, but like all of these different factors, right? You muted yourself.
Sorry.
It's okay.
So this is like a prioritization list. If you hear one of these exercises as listed as an S, then you should 100% buy it.
Yes. I was thinking of A and S as like everyone should own this.
Yes.
You know, if these are the first things to buy.
You know, before you even say any of them, I'm going to say that for me, an S will be, you should own it even if you don't work out at home. Even if you regularly work out at the gym, you should own this because this piece of equipment will serve you in many ways for the rest of your life. And an A will likely be something that like you probably should. If you want to spend any money on home gym equipment, then here's like, you also should have these things.
Yeah. And versatility is in my thoughts too. You know, like certain machines you can only do for one exercise. It might have a lower grade because of that. Okay. Yeah. Ready?
Yes.
Sled.
Oh, starting off with a banger.
Start with a bang.
Sled.
Yes.
A D. A D. But again, when I'm rating them on kind of like if you should have it or not, it's a great piece of equipment. Can you get a phenomenal workout without a sled? Absolutely. Is a sled practical? Like you need a lot of space to be able to push and pull it. You need your face is really bothering me. Say your opinion without saying your opinion, Laura. Yeah, I would say a D. I think it's awesome. I think it's a great piece of equipment. I don't think it's super practical for a lot of people. So in terms of like practicality of owning it or like prioritization of owning it, I would put it like a D. But an E, I will say an E would be no, don't buy that. An E would be like, no.
You mean a D, right? You mean a D. We don't do E. We don't do E here.
Do we do F?
Yeah.
Okay, so F would be like, don't buy it. Like in no circumstance would I recommend.
Yeah. Sorry.
D would be like, I mean, you definitely don't need it. But if you have the space and it sounds fun, it can definitely do good things. So that's where it's a D.
I'm giving it an A.
Wow.
I love the sled. Yeah. The only negative to the sled is that you need enough space to be able to do it. So not everybody's going to be able to do that at home. Like you're not going to be able to do it inside and outside. Like even if you do it on your driveway, it can like tear up your driveway or make a lot of noise for your neighbors and stuff. Like I do it in my yard. So that's the only reason I'm giving it, or that's the only like negative on it. The sled is so awesome. It's just so many
but
things.
like, here's
and
the
it's
other
not
thing.
very expensive. And it's not very expensive, and it's not going to take up a lot of room if you leave it outside.
It doesn't take up a lot of room leaving it, but it takes up a lot of room using it. You need a lot of room to use a sled.
But if you're going to own equipment, right? Like, so this is how I'm thinking of it. Like, if I'm thinking of certain equipment that take up a lot of space, that's going to limit my ability to own other equipment. Or if I'm looking at equipment that like are very expensive, that's going to limit my ability to buy other equipment. The sled is not going to limit your ability to buy other things, and it's because it's not going to take up a lot of room, and it's not very expensive. Like you can find cheaper variations of it. So there's no really negative to owning it as long as you can use it. Do you know what I'm saying?
As long as you can use it. That
As long as
statement's
you
really
can use it.
important. Also, I have a personal issue.
Okay.
If there is a piece of equipment that I personally do not already own, and then you grade it as an A or an S, then I feel I feel inadequate, and I feel that you know.
Well, you don't need to feel inadequate, but
okay.
I would urge you to get one because
I don't know where I would. My backyard is like a no-scape yard. I only have decking and rocks, and my front yard has grass, but it's not like a big enough space to really utilize it. Now, if we went to that field, I could see my son and I really having fun, like using the sled. But would I take it to the field? Like, is it lightweight? And then I have to take the weights. We could push each other, I guess, but I can't.
The reason I'm not giving it a lower grade though is because, like, okay, there might be some people that I can't own this, then you don't buy it, but it's not going to be like I can't buy this because of money or because of space. It's
interesting.
Yeah, it doesn't take up a lot of space. You need a lot of space to use it. And there's so many different things. It's anybody, any age can use it, right? So you don't need, like, it's great for athletic training. You don't need to be like a child can use it. You don't need to have like perfect form. It's not something you're going to get on and hurt yourself. It's also mostly concentric, so you don't get sore afterwards. You can do it in between your workouts. You can do conditioning with it. You can even do like strength things with it. You can do, it can help with sprints because you can load it up and slow yourself down, but still try to run as fast as you can, which is really good for sprints without hurting yourself, right? Because when you hurt yourself is when you go at max speed as fast as you can. With this, it's going to slow you down, so you're not going to do that. And you can do it even like low weights and go longer distance. You can do it in different directions. It's really good for all the muscles around your knee. It's really good for people's knees. It's an awesome
So you're
exercise.
making a great case for utilizing the sled in general. Like, I won't say as an exercise because there's so many exercises you're doing with that piece of equipment. So you're making a good case for the quality of the equipment. But in terms of like prioritizing somebody owning it, like putting it in an A category is that's like if you have limited budget and if you have limited whatever, like put this at the top of your list.
Yeah, because like what other conditioning equipment is that inexpensive?
Just your own body.
Yeah, I guess you could jog and stuff outside, but
you can.
Yeah, you're not like this adds a different versatility to it.
Yeah, I'm sticking with D.
Ugh, that's insane. That's insane. But
I feel like you need to change your mind.
You think I need to change my mind?
Yes.
You gave it a D. That's like one grade above failing.
If you bring it to a B, I'll bring it up to a C.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay. All right. I give it a C.
All right, a squat rack.
Oh, a squat rack. Now, is this a cage versus a rack? Anything to hold a barbell?
I was thinking like a squat rack, a power cage, power, like even like mine, there's all different versions. So mine doesn't take up a lot of room, but it's more expensive, but you can push it up against the wall. So you can do things like that. Like an actual squat rack that's not a cage isn't as sturdy. You can't do as many things with it,
Right.
but it's going to be a lot less expensive and take up a lot less room. Well,
Right.
this doesn't take up a lot of room.
I will say a squat rack / cage as simply a mechanism to hold a bar higher.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give that in general an A, because I think that anybody that is going to own a barbell of any size, actually. So even if you get one, not like a big Olympic barbell, but let's say those ones you get on Amazon with all the plates that you can trade out and stuff like that. I love the idea of having something that you can just have that bar elevated on so that you can get it on your back for a back squat. So I think that, like, if you're going to have some sort of barbell, then you should have some sort of rack. If it's a squat cage, I way prefer a squat cage to those unstable racks.
Yeah, me
I
too.
actually hate those. I hate those
too.
unstable racks, especially once you get into, like, okay, if we're going to graduate beyond those, like, and you actually get an Olympic barbell and real plates, I don't want somebody to have those racks anymore. I want you to upgrade that as well.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're talking about more like, I think everybody should have something like that. But if I was then going to narrow it down and say in the realm of squat racks, I would put a cage as like an S, and then I'd put those racks more as like a C. But it can be a good way to start, especially if you're starting, you've never really used a barbell, or this is the stuff you already have and you just need a rack to hold it. But I hate when clients send me videos because they have all this great equipment, but they don't have a rack, and I give them a squat and then they're throwing this barbell around trying to get it on their back. And I'm just like, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I feel. Lots of nuance there.
So an A, basically?
Yeah, I'm going to give it an A.
I gave it an S just because I love the barbell and I feel like everyone should use it.
But
So I'm
an
giving
S, again, is like, and it's great. But so this is, again, my grading system is coming from the idea, if you have nothing, if you have nothing at home and you need to get stuff and you hear this list, if I give something an S, go buy it now. And I wouldn't start with a squat rack. I would start with other things. I would say, here's your tier 1, here's your tier 2, here's your tier 3. And I would put a rack maybe in like a tier 2, which in my mind is like an A. Maybe tier 3, depending on where we're at. But usually...
It depends on how much money you have, I guess.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a lot of money, then I would start with dumbbells, right? But
Yeah.
if you want, and I'm not thinking of this as like you're just starting out, this is the only equipment, this is your starting equipment. That's not how I'm thinking of it. I'm thinking of it as you have a home gym, you have limited space, you may have limited money. These are the things that are the biggest priority to own. Overall, that doesn't mean like starting out. Just overall, these are the things that you need to get. And a squat rack is in that S tier to me because it's something that even if you don't start out getting it, it's something you need to get eventually in my brain.
Yeah. So I guess I'm viewing it as somebody that has nothing, and I'm seeing it, everything in S you need to go buy right now.
Yeah.
And then I'm moving down. But if I were to say it as a very solid home gym that you can get like almost everything you need to get done in that realm, I would say a rack would be like an S. Yeah.
Yeah. So it depends on how you're looking at it, but
Right.
I look at it as like, yeah, like how I explained. I'm not going to re-explain. Okay. A treadmill.
Oh, a treadmill? Does a walking pad count in that?
Sure, but
I don't know if it changes my calculus at all.
Yeah. It's a variation of that, so I'd say sure.
A C, which might make you mad because I'm giving it a higher grade than a sled. Well, I moved my sled up to a C.
It's a sled. As a sled.
I would give a treadmill a higher grade than a sled.
Okay. You have any other thoughts? Just that?
I just think you can do so much on it. It makes walking more accessible, no matter the type of environment you live in or the season. You can get cardio in and on. If it's a real treadmill, you can actually run on it versus a walking pad. You can only walk. Yeah, I just think that it's a good piece of equipment to own. Do you need to prioritize getting one? No, because you can go walk outside. But if you have one, it makes a lot of things easier, which is why I'm giving it like a C.
I'm giving it a B for the same reasons. It does make it helpful. Make it easier to get your steps in. As a piece of conditioning equipment, I don't know if it's the best because of the high impact of it. So something like I was saying, it's really hard to get my heart rate up really high with it because I feel so unsteady on the
Mhm.
treadmill compared to if I was on a bike or something. Being able to switch in between like fast and slow is a lot harder on the treadmill compared to like a bike. Like you're not like if you have one of those
Definitely.
self-propelled ones, then I want one of those, but they're like $2,000 or $3,000, so that's going to
Oh,
lower
yeah.
the grade just for that. That's the other thing. It's kind of expensive. A treadmill in general are pretty expensive compared to other things. Unless you get a really cheap one, but then it's probably, I don't know, not as good. Like a walking pad isn't very expensive, but
Yeah.
so I'm gonna give it a B for that
Cool.
reason. All right, a barbell, and I'm gonna add plates. Barbell and plates together. They're kind of a package deal. It's hard to do something without the other.
Yeah. A.
S.
Uh,
S. Same
I'm
thing.
coming. Yeah. I agree with an S if it's just like a very well equipped home gym, but if I'm
Mhm,
coming from like a prioritization list of where to start, then I would
mhm.
put it at an A.
Okay. I'm gonna give it an S because I feel like everyone should learn to do some barbell. I mean, it just makes it easier to progressive overload than using dumbbells, right? Eventually,
Yeah.
it's hard for me to do enough weight with dumbbells for doing like a Romanian deadlift or something, or a squat,
But
or
and again, coming from the like if you want to have like a very like a nice like home gym,
Mhm.
then like yeah, it's definitely an S. But if you're coming from a perspective of like what's the kind of like minimum like the I'm not going
But
to have
that's
this
not
big
how
home
I'm
gym like
making. That's not how I'm making my list, though.
yeah. Well, I guess I'm making mine that way. So
That's fine.
I guess I'm just verbalizing it. So I would give
Yeah.
it an A because e everything on the S tier, like I said, you need to own whether you go to a gym or not, whether you strength train or not, like, you just need to own them and because you know what I mean? And then an A is, like, next level. Go buy
I'm
these
th-
things.
I'm thinking that as like this is your home gym. Like your home gym is your priority gym. Maybe you don't go to the gym if you have a home gym and you want it. What are the things that are going to be your biggest bang for your buck kind of
Yeah.
thing?
That's a
Yeah.
good cool.
Uh Dumbbells.
Oh, S.
S.
Yeah.
Just so versatile. And they don't
Yeah.
take up you can get like the adjustable ones that don't
Mhm.
take up a lot of room. I like the regular ones. They take up more room though, but I like
Yeah.
being able to grab which ones I want. Uh yeah. I mean, we've talked about this before about how important dumbbells are.
Yeah, I will say dumbbells are really important. I agree with you. I love having like a big old dumbbell rack with just like you see in a gym with like all my
Yeah,
different
that's
weights. Like
yeah.
I just prefer that. I do have like those Bowflex adjustable ones that go up, I think, to like 80 pounds each. I love those also because I can keep them in the house, whereas
Mhm.
the rest of my gym's outside. So I can get a workout in inside if I need to. And on that note, if you are going to go buy adjustable dumbbells because my mom just sent me and this happens a lot with clients as well, they'll say, hey, what do you think of this? They'll go on Amazon and find like a starter kit or whatever, and it's those bars with they're little skinny dumbbells and or barbells where you add the plates on and you screw them in. So
Mhm.
you have to unscrew them every time and take off the plates. Don't waste your money on those. I really
No.
would not recommend anybody
They don't
waste their
usually
money
go
on
up very
those.
high in weight either.
They don't go up very high, and every time you do a different exercise, you have to unscrew each end, reload plates on, and it's not worth the how cheap they are, it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
Like, you'll end up replacing them anyway. I'd rather you get like, if you have limited money and you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna get these adjustable dumbbells," I'd rather you just buy a pair of 15s and
Yeah.
like only have a pair of 15s and then you can use one or you can use both and yeah we're limited but it's better than those and then you just add to that over time instead of those little rickety shits. I don't like those.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, landmine.
like the little landmine attachment assuming you have a barbell.
Assuming you already have a barbell.
Yeah, I love a landmine attachment. I think everybody that already has a barbell and a cage should get one. So if we're coming from that angle, A.
I
If we're
agree.
coming from my angle, then like D.
I'm gonna give it an A because it doesn't take up a lot of room. It's not very
Mhm.
expensive. It's very easy to add if you already have a barbell, and it
Yeah.
adds so much versatility to so many different. Like you can do power with it. I love that you could do things a little bit more functionally, right? You can do more rotation and things because you can move it in those directions. Whereas like a barbell barbells and dumbbells, you can't really do rotation things with those because of gravity. The way
Yeah,
gravity
as
works, it
easily.
doesn't
Yeah.
really work. Like you twisting with a dumbbell is like, you ever see people do that with their arms and they'll go like this? Like you're not training what you think you are because of gravity. That's not how that
Yeah.
works. You don't need a weight there to do that. Anyway, with that, you can twist and you can turn and you can do power and you can do like I can do hex squats with it that I can't do with, any other way. And you can you can get really creative. Like I've done belt squats with it. You can do all different kinds of things with it.
Yeah, I like a landmine too because people that have barbells, there's lots of women that will have equipment in their house that maybe their husbands previously owned it or do own it and use it, but they don't really use it. And somebody who like would like to use a barbell, but they're intimidated by it. And so we're going to work up to that so they don't get intimidated. But it takes like a barbell is always seen as, even when we talk about it, like, oh, it's a way to load up something.
Yeah.
But with a landmine, it's a way to use the barbell that actually we're taking weight away. You're actually using less weight overall because of the way that we're using the barbell is totally different. And so I like it because of that. It just makes the barbell something totally different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I love the landmine, as you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh, and I want to say a way to be able to do landmine exercises if you don't have a landmine attachment, which again, it's actually really just go on Amazon. They're very inexpensive if you already have a barbell. Like you should just get one. But something I did before I had a landmine attachment was if you take, and it's not great, you have to have a yoga mat that you don't mind destroying. But if you roll up a yoga mat, like you fold it once and then fold it one more time. So it's in like quarters. And then you shove it in the corner of a wall. And then you just put the barbell into the corner of the wall on the yoga mat so it doesn't destroy your wall while you're moving it. That actually works.
I heard I've seen people like cut up a tennis ball and put that on the end.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. But it's like something that I'm like, yeah, okay, great, but they're really not that expensive if you bought
Right,
one.
exactly. Yeah.
So yeah. So that's why it gets such a high grade because it's like if it was like $500, my grade would definitely go down. But it doesn't take up a lot of room and it's not very expensive and you can do a lot of things with it. All right, exercise bike.
Exercise bike. Depends on what kind.
So I'm thinking of like the air bike or the assault
Yeah.
bike where you're moving your arms and your feet.
I like those assault bikes better than the ones where you're completely sitting. Like I could sit there and read a book
or whatever.
Yeah, and it's like only my feet are moving.
Mhm.
If we're talking about like an assault bike, that's pretty cool. I would give it I'd give it higher than a sled, so I guess I'd give it a C.
Okay. I'm actually giving it an A because I think it's one of the better pieces of cardio equipment. Like if you're going to own one piece of cardio equipment, a treadmill might make sense if you want to walk on it a lot, but like that's really easy to go outside except when it's -20 out. So, it really depends on where you live. But a bike, I think, is one of the best for actual cardio and conditioning because it's very low impact and you can decide how fast and slow you go very easily.
Yeah, you can get you can get your heart rate up there with an assault bike. From
Yeah.
your angle, I agree with the A. From my angle, I still keep it at like a C because I think it's kind of big, so it does take up space, but you don't have to move around with it. So that would be a really great piece of equipment if you really want to improve cardiovascular, you want to have cardio equipment. I like it for that. And just going back to the treadmill, I think the treadmill is really only something somebody should have if they legitimately struggle getting steps in, and that would be the thing that makes a difference. Because like I have a client currently who she gets up every single morning at like 4:30 in the morning and she goes on the treadmill and she watches like morning, whatever she watches in the morning, and she walks and she gets in steps before she gets to her office and sits all day. And so for her, that's an amazing piece of equipment. But there's so many people that own a treadmill thinking like, oh, I'm going to start running. I have a treadmill.
Yeah.
Like if you're buying it because you want to start running, then don't get a treadmill. It should be used if you really struggle getting like steps in and stuff.
Yeah.
It
Or
can
if
be
you
useful.
already are a runner and it's like when it's -20, you're like, I don't want to go
Right.
outside.
Specific uses, yeah.
Yeah. I like my treadmill to get my steps in. It
If you're
definitely
just
helps
getting it
because it gets
because you
really
wanna
cold.
if you wanna do more cardio, if you're like, "I need to do more cardio, I should at home, I should get a treadmill." Don't. Get an
I
assault
would get a bike. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, bands.
Bands?
Mhm.
It doesn't matter what kind of bands, handled bands, long loop bands, mini bands, just bands in general.
Just all of them. Well, I mean, yeah, just you can put them all in one thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm deciding between S or A. I'm thinking S, like you should just have bands, but you can also get away with not. So maybe high A.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of those things that I feel like everybody should own because they're not very expensive. They don't take up a lot of room, and there's a lot of things you need them for. But it's not like something I'm going to. My whole program isn't going to be based around bands, right? It's just
Yeah.
something that is it's like an accessory thing that is very helpful and very useful, not very
Right.
expensive.
Bands, like I have a love-hate relationship. I don't like bands when people are like, I'm strength training now. Look at me
Yeah.
doing all these band exercises. I'm like, okay. I like to use bands as like an accessory tool that you layer on to.
Yeah.
Or another reason I really like bands for at-home gyms in particular, or people who are working out at home. I won't even say at-home gym, because if you have an at-home gym, you might not have this problem. But a lot of people who work out at home do not have a way to pull vertically. And
Mhm.
so bands help with that. Like if you think about like a pull up, or not even just a pull up, but pulling down vertically.
Yeah.
It's really hard to do that if you don't have a pull up bar and some bands, because then you can pull down, or at least somewhere to put the band so that you can pull down. So that's, I
Yeah.
like them for that. Or like face pulls, like even pulling
Mhm.
towards you, but like from that high angle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I like them
Travel, they
for
work well
like
for
wood
travel.
chops too.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, there's so many things that I can't even like think of all the things I use a band for, but I
Mm-hmm.
need them frequently.
Yeah.
And there's no reason not to own one.
Right. That's, yeah.
A trap bar.
A trap bar. Um, I've given nothing a B. Coming from my angle, a D. Like
Okay.
you don't really need to prioritize it. Coming from like your angle, like a very well outfitted home gym. Oh man, still though, because you can really only do, well, C. I'm gonna give it a C. I can't
I
beat
get
it.
I'm gonna give it a C because
Okay.
you can't. It's not something that you need. You can totally get by without it. It is fun. Like I like to do deadlifts with it because it's less back, but you don't need that.
Do
You
you do
know,
anything else with it?
I don't have enough room to do farmer carries. That would probably be the only. Oh, I do. I've done things with it. I've done like high pulls with it, and I've done Romanian deadlifts with it. It's just like a different variation of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a pain in the ass to set up. Like it's really hard to. I don't know.
Does
It's
it
hard to
move
get
as
the.
well?
No, it's really hard to load up. Like you get the one end, and then you have to pick the other end up. Like because I can't put it in my rack and load
Mm-hmm.
it up like I can with the barbell. So it's hard to load up. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
pain in the butt to use. So I don't like using it all the time. Um, but I do. I don't know. It's fine. I'm gonna give it a C.
I'm gonna lower. I'm gonna give it a D.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm very. My grades for these are very not mean. I don't know how to say it. Yeah.
How many equipment do you have left?
Oh, yeah, we're running out of time, huh? So we might have to split it up. Want to do just like one more or something?
Is a Bosu ball in there?
No.
Oh, can you put it
No.
on the list?
Sure.
I want to give something an F.
Yeah. I can do that.
Okay, great. Are
Uh,
TRX straps on there?
they are.
Okay, kettlebells on there?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I have
How many
most things.
you want to do, like one more today and the
Yeah, we'll
rest?
do one more today.
All right.
And then
Add some, you have cables on there?
I do.
Okay, cool.
I have a lot. There's many.
Cool.
It's
Cool.
we only went through like half the list.
Sweet. All right.
Yeah.
Add Bosu so I can give something an
Okay.
F. And then teaser for next week. and then let's do one more and then we'll do the rest tomorrow. I mean,
Okay.
next week.
The next is pull-up bar.
I actually highly rate I didn't used to, but I highly rate it paired with bands for what I just said, vertical pulling. So even if you're not necessarily going to do a pull-up, I like to give you the option. Well, it's there, so we can always work on it. And then when you pair it with the bands, you can do vertical pulling. So I will say, actually, coming from my angle of like categorization, I usually recommend this pretty soon. So I give it an A.
like A minus, B plus, you know?
Yeah.
Like the only reason it's not a higher grade is because it's not super versatile, right? You can do pull-ups, you can do dead hangs, you can do like
Raises, like leg
raises.
lifts.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm like doing the movement, but I don't know what to say. Yeah, you could do like that kind of stuff with it. But I love pull-ups. I think everyone should get good at pull-ups, and it doesn't take up a lot of room. It's not very expensive. There's different ways you can do it. You can get one. You can get a rack that already has it there. You can. I
Right.
have just like a pipe from my hanging from my wall. You can get the ones in your door. Which makes it very convenient. The only thing about those though is you need to have your feet up in the air, right? You can't just fully hang.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would give it. I'd probably say A. I think everyone should. It's a good way to, like you said, vertical pull.
Yeah. It's one of the things I find myself recommending early on. Like if I give like a tier list, I'll say, get these essentials. But then as soon as we move beyond the essentials, I find myself saying, all right, pull up bar. Because in the essentials are bands. And I usually recommend long loop bands because you can do a lot with them versus mini bands. You can take the long loop pull up bands and you can roll them up and use them. You can use them in different ways, whereas the mini bands are limited. So once you already have the long loop bands, I'll second be like, get a pull up bar. Is it $20? On Amazon, you get the door ones, and then you attach your loop bands to them and you can pull down. And then you have no excuse not to try to do pull-ups because it's there. And it's easy and it's there and I like it. So
Yeah.
I usually recommend it pretty quickly.
Yeah. I agree. It's growing by my criteria. It's not very expensive. It doesn't take up a lot of room.
Yeah.
Very.
But if you're talking about well-outfitted gym, I would say S because even like if you have a good gym, then you usually have a cage, which usually has a bar attached to it naturally because it's a cage. So it's almost like assumed that you'll have a way to pull up.
Mine doesn't have one on it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because this rack.
Yeah, I see now. I can see it behind you. It's like one you pull out from the wall.
It is, and because of and they still have the ones where you pull out from the wall that have, but this one didn't because it was shorter. Like most of theirs, you need to have like a taller ceiling. This one was the one that you could have like an 8-foot ceiling or lower, and my garage wasn't very high. Like this, I don't know what the ceiling is in here. It's over 8 feet though. So when I bought it, I needed to get the one and that one didn't have the pull-up bar with it. So I would have liked that. Then you have all the different angles and the different things.
Yeah, maybe A. Keep it an A for both.
I'm gonna get
Yeah. Cool.
All
All right. Well, we'll do
do
the
the
rest of them next week.
Sounds good.
Awesome. All right. Thanks for listening. If you like this, please leave a comment, like it, share it on your social medias or with a friend. And we will see you next week.